It's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you want to rock and roll? Driving on the highway, going to a show. Stopping on the byway, playing rock and roll. Getting round, getting stoned, getting beat up, getting a bone, getting high, getting shook. Until your bones, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. Ladies in the new one-night stands, driving a rock and roll band. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.
Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Reif, and welcome to another installment of the 2005 season of the NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series. We are here from Kansas for race number 29 out of 36 of this season for the Protection 1 400. Been a mile and a half racing coming your way in just a short few moments, as we'll take you trackside and get a look at your starting lineup for today's race. Brian Vickers in the 25 car will be starting from pole today, and to his outside is going to be Matt Kenseth in the 17, starting from second place. Looking down the rest of the grid, excuse me, Scott Riggs is going to be in third place in the 57, and Robbie Gordon will start this race from fourth in the 31. His teammate Kevin Harvick will be in fifth place in the 29, and Kurt Busch will start this race in sixth. Todd Bodine will be in 7th in the 26 car, and Ricky Hendrick will be in P8, one of the main championship contenders. His 9th is Jamie McMurray in the 40, and Shad Little in 10th. 11th goes to Carl Edwards in the 97, and Casey Kane will start this race in 12th place. Greg Biffle will be P13, and Tony Stewart, your points leader after last race, will be in the 14th position. 15th goes to Mark Martin, and 16th will be Jeff Burton in the 99. David Rudiman will start this race in 17th, and Casey Atwood in P18. 19th goes to John Andretti in the 43, and Jeremy Mayfield will be in 20th place. 21st goes to Ryan Newman, and Dale Jr. will be in 22nd. Jeff Gordon starts this race from 23rd, and 24th goes to Sterling Marlin. 25th will be Kyle Busch, and Bobby Labonte in 26th place. 27th will be Kenny Wallace, and 28th John Wood. 29th goes to David Green, and 30th will be Christian Elder. 31st goes to Johnny Sauter, and P32 will be Hank Parker Jr. in the 4. Scott Wimmer will start from 33rd, and Dave Blaney in 34th. 35th goes to Ricky Rudd in the 71, and Augie Vidovic will be in 36th place. 37th goes to Michael Waltrip, and 38th Morgan Shepherd. Jason Leffler in 39th place, and Mike Bliss will start 40th. In the final row will be Eric Norris in the 51 car, and 42nd will be Don Thompson Jr. in the 33. 81 laps here from Kansas with Brian Vickers from pole. Take you trackside for the most famous words in motorsports here from Kansas. Stock cars roar to life here from Kansas with Vickers on pole. This race, holder to have one of the most exciting finishes of the season, as it was Kurt Busch taking over from Ricky Hendrick at the very end of the last time out here in the spring. He won that one with a last-second pass on the 5 car for that victory. And looking for some more exciting action here from Kansas this time as Vickers takes the field to the green here in just a short few moments. One of the faster tracks on the calendar, and a racetrack that's really characteristic in the fact that the top side can really work at this place, especially on the longer run. The longer you're on the tires, the better the outside lane typically is. So we'll see a lot of defense at this racetrack and a lot of varying battles with both the bottom and the top coming out on top of those different battles. But nonetheless, 25-17 to lead you to the green here today. Rookie from the pole, 81 laps here from Kansas as the pace car will peel into the pit lane as we head into the restart box. And for the first time, the initial start of this race, we're green here from Kansas as Vickers leads us to the stripe. Rounding turn 4 for the first time as Vickers has the lead at the stripe and leads the opening lap from pole. Kansas slots into second and is immediately going to try to go down low as they're 4 wide back there. That's not going to work. Ryan Newman down on the apron, into Wallace and into the wall hard. Crashing in turn number 1 as John Wood is up on top of the wall. Marlon Parker Jr., Wood, Bliss, Wallace, and others involved in it. It's a Penske clean out here on the second lap as the caution flag comes out. Right away, Matt Kenseth will lead the field to the yellow flag under caution for the first time as we get a look at that one, looking like a typical Kansas stack-up as somebody got the wall there in turn number 4. Looking like the 38 and the 99. That'd be Kane and Jeff Burton on the outside, and Newman trying to keep it out of harm's way, ends up on the apron, 4 wide, gets a piece of the apron, and nothing that he could have done to slow that thing down. Collects his teammate John Wood, a hard hit for the 6 car as he climbs on top of the fence, almost went over with help from Mike Bliss in the 81 machine, who got into that wreck as well. Hank Parker Jr. nowhere to go as well in the 4, an early exit for him as it looks like. A lot of hard hits early here, and we are under caution right away. Into the pit lane here is pretty much everybody on the opening run. A couple cars will stay out as Chad Little will stay on the racetrack to retain the lead. John Andretti will be in second place. The only 2 cars still on the track after that caution, and looking like we're going to see a bunch of drivers just topping up on fuel here as Kenseth wins the race off the pit road. So early collisions result in a little bit of a shake-up, 28 and 43 in first and second. We take you to intermission right away here from Kansas with Chad Little in the lead. And we're back here from Kansas as Chad Little will lead us to the green flag here, staying out under that early caution to take the race lead. No tires for anybody, so it'll be an even playing field for him and the guys behind. John Andretti will be in second place. Kenseth won the race off pit road. He'll be in third place, and the rest of the top five is going to be Robbie Gordon and Kurt Busch. McMurray, Vickers, Riggs, Edwards, and Morton, your top 10 as we round turn 4. Pace car going to peel in, and Chad Little leads the field to the green into the restart box, and we are back underway now. An even start for the top 3. Kurt Busch looked to the outside. His teammate ducks low. Vickers looked to take it 3 wide into turn 1 and couldn't find the room to do so. Kenseth and Gordon a run off at turn number 2. The 31 will duck low on Kenseth for third. Couldn't keep the nose underneath down the back stretch, though. Everybody's staying out of harm's way in the back end of the field right now. I believe it might end up being curtains for the 6 and the 4. We're a bit of a ways off the pace. Chad Little pulling away from the race lead now. Kenseth working on Andretti for second place in turn 1, and the 17 is going to move up a spot as he takes back second place now. Points leader Tony Stewart mired back in 20th place. Casey Kane back there as well. He's in 17th. Got to get a little bit of repair on the right side as he had some damage. 55 car, I believe. Yeah, that is David Rudiman into the pit lane. Unscheduled pit stop for him as he takes 4 tires. And we are under caution again now. Didn't even notice, and yeah, we had a crash there in turn number 3. I believe it involved the 00 Michael Waltrip as we're under yellow flag now. Get a look back at this one. Ooh, and a lot of smoke piling out of the 00 car of Waltrip. Ooh, just looking like contact there between him and Eric Norris in turn 3. Ooh, straight into the wall. Hard impact for those guys. Vidovic got a piece of it as well. So a hard crash there. And that brings out another caution and another round of pit stops coming up now as Chad Little will lead the field into the pit lane. Whole field coming in here. 55 of Rudiman will be getting a free pass here. Field coming in as Chad Little into his box. 4 tires and fuel. Looking like it is going to be 2 tires or maybe even fuel only for Kyle Busch, who looks to take the lead here. And yup, a quick fuel only stop for the 19. Couple of 2 tires here and there. Little leaves the pits in second place. Casey Atwood jumped up a handful of positions. Rudiman will be waved around here as we are under caution. Kyle Busch in the 19, now your race leader. We'll take you to intermission once again here from Kansas. A couple of quick early cautions. Back from intermission here at Kansas as Kyle Busch will have the race lead over the 28 of Chad Little. Kyle Busch, the only driver to take no tires there on that last stop. A couple of extra drivers took two. The two of Kenny Wallace, one of them, as well as the 57 and the 38. Casey Kane, one of the championship contenders, making a bit of a different pit strategy call. He jumps up to P10 as a result. Got to make some calls like that at this point in the championship, especially if you're having a bit of a rough day up to this point. Looking at the rest of the top five, it's going to be Little, Atwood, Kenseth, and Andretti. 30 on two tires as well. So a couple of drivers with less rubber here on this restart as Busch leads the field to the green, and we are back underway. A great start by the 28. Trying to go to the outside, though, as Atwood's going to get underneath him into turn number one. Side by side for second as Busch pulls away off of turn number two. Headed down the backstretch and into turn three. Loving this in his mirror is Kyle Busch. Chad Little will clear on the outside, stay in front of Atwood there for the second spot. Atwood back down to third. And Little on four tires going to look to chase down the 19 to retake that race lead. Down the back stretch now as they enter turn three, mostly all under wraps up front. Still single file through the first few spots. Andretti trying to fight off McMurray as well as Kurt Busch back there. A couple of cars on two tires, 57 and 38. Kane popped the wall there into turn one. Battle for the lead as Chad Little's underneath the 19 for first into turn three side by side. And he is going to retake first place. Kenseth forced way up the racetrack there. Just about keeps it out of the fence. Three wide, if only for a moment, as Robbie Gordon looks to capitalize and take away second. And he will do so. The 31 into P2 now. Kenseth still trying to work on the 19 for third. Eric Norris also going to be pulled off the track here. Tough day right now for the 5 and 20 as Tony Stewart runs all the way down in 33rd. So far, the story of the middle point of this season has seemed like none of the points leaders can really ever have a good day. Kurt Busch had a couple of bad races to lose the points lead, and now Tony Stewart way back there at the back end. Ricky Hendrick also second in the standings, or excuse me, third. Down in 27th. Kane loving this. He entered this race second in points and is on the tail end of the top group in the points as Bobby Labonte was on the apron there. Gonna run back and look at that one. Ooh, looking like the 43 got the fence, and the 18 and 57 dove to the apron to avoid. No harm, no foul. Everybody keeps it clean. Bobby Labonte was all the way in the grass to get around that one. Still a lot of fighting up front. Jamie McMurray looking to get around the 19. Meanwhile, battle for the lead as Robbie Gordon looks to take first from Chad Little, and he does. 31 up and into first place. Everybody else still in the back of the field fighting for position as Tony Stewart and Ricky Hendrick look to regain some lost spots on the racetrack. Casey Kane running in the 13th spot, and Kurt Busch, the one who needed it the most, is the furthest up of these championship leaders. Fourth in points entering today after the poor finish last week. He runs now P5 as he passes Kenseth for fifth. Jamie McMurray absolutely flying these last couple laps as he pulls up to Little and Robbie Gordon, the two leaders. Quarter of this race completed already as the 31 still up front. Top three have broken away now as Kurt Busch working on brother Kyle for fourth. Off of turn two and down the backstretch as Busch is trying to fend off on that outside. Again, the only car that took fuel only on that caution that we last experienced. Kenseth way off the track again, trying to find some grip up high. Nothing doing for the 17. Kurt Busch winner of the spring race, gets under his teammate, or excuse me, not teammate, but his brother Kyle. Fellow Dodge, and through into fourth. Huge run for Chad Little on Robbie Gordon there out of turn 2. Gonna take that run, but couldn't quite get underneath him into turn 3. And drops a long way off of turn 4. That opens the door for McMurray to go low here. As the 40 car tries to take P2 away. Little with the run on the outside, staying with him down the backstretch. And into turn 3, trying to power ahead. But McMurray finds the grit down there, and he's back through into second now. Kurt Busch all the way to the back bumper and pulls to the inside. He had a monster run out of turn 4. And takes it all the way up to his teammate, although McMurray trying to get clear on the outside. Both of them trying to stay in the throttle, and McMurray gets back past the 01 and stays in front down the backstretch. Kurt Busch to third. Update on Stewart, who is now up to the 24th position, trying to work on, and is Jeff Burton in the 99 for 23rd, and gets past him. Now has his sights set on championship rival Ricky Hendrick. That'd be for 22nd on the racetrack. Casey Kane in the 38, still holding strong on track. He runs in P12 at the moment. Solid run for him so far, not losing any ground on 2 tires, but we'll be looking forward to that next pit stop to get some real pace in that 38 machine. Top 4 still tightly knit here, but Robbie Gordon with a bit of a buffer for the lead ahead of McMurray in the 40 car. Here comes Kurt Busch for second place down the front stretch. The 01 got some speed in the middle of this run. He gets underneath. McMurray trying to find some speed on the outside. Still side by side between the two Ganassi teammates as they head down the backstretch. McMurray pulling ahead in turn 4, and he stays in front of the 01 for second. That allows Robbie Gordon to pull away from the race lead. Still all 31. It'll be 30 laps completed this time by for your race leader in that Childress 31 car. "35 race cars still on this racetrack as Robbie Gordon holds on to the lead. The top 6 fairly close, but separated a little bit per car. Chad Little right behind Kenseth, who I believe just got around him for 4th place. Casey Atwood runs in P7. Casey Kane trying to make up some positions right now as he fights with Kyle Busch. That is for 9th. Busch stays in front of the 38. As Kane is in a battle with Todd Bodine for 10th. 20 and 5 slowly making up ground. It's Stewart in front of Ricky Hendrick right now, although the 5 is going to try to get underneath him now in turn 1. And is unable to stay there as Stewart now looks to pass a Wimmer. That's for 19th place, I believe. No, excuse me, 20th. And Tony Stewart back into the top 20, still looking to slowly pick him off as we approach the midway point in this race. Kane back to work on Busch for P9. and he'll get past the 19 into that position, ahead of Jeff Gordon, who follows through into P10. Robbie Gordon and McMurray were close there for the lead in turn 3, but 40 couldn't find a way to get underneath the 31. Kurt Busch and try to capitalize on McMurray having not much speed out of turn 4, side by side between the two Dodges for second. Great run by Kurt Busch out of that corner. He's going to go all the way to the lead here, or at least tried to get underneath and could not do it, as Robbie Gordon drives it off in turn 3 to hold on to that lead and keep the 01 at bay. McMurray with a big run on the outside. Which lane do you block if you're Robbie Gordon? Here's Kurt Busch. Almost contact between these two for the race lead. McMurray tried to go way high, couldn't find the grip up there. Kenseth pulls out to make it a 4-horse race, but Kurt Busch has got the race lead for the first time today. Busch has been looking for a big momentum swing after a poor last couple races to try and get back into this title fight, but Robbie Gordon not giving up for the race lead, side by side between the 31 and 01 as they head down the backstretch. A dead heat between these two for the race lead. Kenseth sits right behind them, giving some draft help to Kurt Busch, who gets back clear on the outside. Kenseth trying to follow him through on the top. McMurray right behind. He'll go to the outside. And now back down low. Kenseth trying to find grip on the outer line. Couldn't do it. Outside's a little better in 3 and 4 right now, you have to think. And pit stops now. The first pitter is unsurprisingly going to be Kyle Busch, the only driver on no tires, as we mentioned earlier, under that last caution. Which, I'm going to get a look at what lap that was all the way back. On lap number 14, we went green, so 24 laps, 20 closer to 23 completed by the 19 car. Robbie Gordon going to come into the pit lane now. As he ducks in from the top 5. Kenny Wallace also in. So pit stop's happening now. Just about 24, 25 laps completed since we last went green. Expecting the fuel run to be about 26 or so laps long. So one more stop expected for these drivers. McMurray and Kenseth into the pits now from second and third. Chad Little will enter, as well as Casey Kane from the top 10. 5 of Ricky Hendrick stays out a little longer. Tony Stewart, your points leader, coming in here. Gonna get to the outside of Carl Edwards and make a pass on pit entry. And Kurt Busch in from the race lead. The 01 car will head down pit road here just prior to halfway. Expecting one more stop around lap probably 68 or later. Kane and Jeff Gordon leaving the pits there. Kurt Busch, man, threaded the gap there. That was close. But the 01 finds a clean pit entry. Ricky Hendrick in as well. 4 tires and fuel for everybody as Kurt Busch gets the left sides on. And he is out of the pit lane. See where he ends up leaving the pits from as he gets back on the racetrack. One of the latest pitters, a part of that very last group. Robbie Gordon out in front of the guys who came in earlier, unsurprising given his early pit stop, and he will take the race lead away from Kurt Busch in the 01. Busch down to third. McMurray will take second place. Kyle Busch with the short pit as well, a long way up the order. He enters the top 5. Fighting with Kenseth. That's for fourth. Bit of a rough pit exit for Kane. Lost a couple spots leaving the pits. He's in at 12th. Left the pits side by side with Gordon. Imagine he had to get out of the throttle and find a place in line. Now P12. Tony Stewart leaves the pits in 15th as Mayfield gets around him in the 48. Ricky Hendrick is in the 17th position ahead of Dave Blaney in the 77 car. But it is Robbie Gordon, your race leader. McMurray trying to find some speed to close back up to the 31 of Robbie Gordon. Inside the second half of the race now. 31 has been the car to beat so far, along with Kurt Busch, who pit a little later down into third. Not a whole lot to talk about right now, but still the championship contenders finding their way closer to the front of the field. Tony Stewart running in the 15th spot. He's holding off Andretti for that top 15 right now. Ricky Hendrick still in the 17th position. Not a whole lot doing for those guys, but Kane looking to gain some spots as he's catching up to the two Childress teammates in the form of Harvick and Atwood. .29 looking to get underneath his teammate. That's for 10th. As those two head side by side and into turn 1, Kane will follow Harvick through into 11th place. Gonna look to get to work for P10. Jeff Gordon running in the 8th position. Another driver worth mentioning in this championship battle who's been on the outside looking in for quite a long time. He's 150 out of the points lead, with a chance at this championship come season's end, and is running well to gain some points here today. And of course, Kurt Busch looking the best of the championship leaders so far, and of course, we mentioned he needed it the most. That 01 car was 4th in points entering today after another poor finish last week. He sits 89 back of Tony Stewart entering today's race, and runs the highest of the 4 main championship leaders. He's in 3rd place right now behind his teammate Jamie McMurray, who has been looking to pass Robbie Gordon for the lead for a handful of laps now. 31 in P1. It has been these 3 for a majority of the middle portion of this race. Kenseth also a rough part of this battle for the lead for a while. And Kyle Busch, on 4 tires now, has lurked in 5th. Bobby Lalonde's looked fairly quick today as well in P6. Chad Little, who led a handful of the opening of this race, is in P7. Jeff Gordon, of course, back there in 8th. We mentioned him earlier. And Greg Biffle, who has had a stellar final third of the season so far. Winner of 4 of the last 10 races prior to this week. He runs in now the 8th position as he works on Jeff Gordon and gets past him for that position. Kevin Harvick in 10th, and Casey Kane in the 11th position. Scott Wimmer had a solid race so far. He is fighting with Atwood for 12th. Mayfield has slowly been climbing the order in this portion of the race. He's in 14th. 15th is Andretti. 16th will be Ricky Hendrick, who just got past Tony Stewart, the 20. Not having a whole lot of speed right now at the early portion of this run. We'll see if the 20 comes alive later in this run. Might have a long run car underneath him. Dave Blaney runs in the 18th position, Todd Bodine in 19th. Those guys have seen some top 15 action today. Todd Bodine as high as the top 10 at a point in this race, as well as Carl Edwards, who is just outside the top 20. Mark Martin in 22nd, and Jeff Burton makes it 3 Roush cars in a row. Christian Elder runs in the 24th position, 25th Don Thompson Jr., who started a long way back in the field, so a solid recovery drive from the 33 so far. Still gaining experience here in Cup. Kenny Wallace in the 26th position. A solid run for him despite being involved heavily in that first caution, not even with a back end on that race car. A commendable run despite the damage. He runs in P26. David Runeman's in 27th. A solid recovery after getting lapped with an unscheduled pit stop. Jason Leffler in 28th position. Brian Vickers, the pole sitter, is a long way down the order. He runs 29th now as Scott Riggs, who has been up and down today and I believe involved in an accident himself. He's 30th. Morgan Shepard in 31st. David Green in the 32nd position. Vidovic in 33rd. 34th is going to be Ricky Rudd. And the last car on the racetrack is Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 35th position. And that is your field rundown. It is a big battle now for second as McMurray looks to hold off both Kenseth and Busch for P2. Stays in front of the 17 on the outside. Robbie Gordon's still in control of this thing, but McMurray's been hounding him for the better part of 15 to 20 laps. Probably even longer than that. About halfway through this fuel run. Again, expecting one more stop around 15 to 10 to go. Everybody's staying clean right now. Ricky Hendrick and Tony Stewart still deadlocked in that battle for 16th. It's been real close between these two all day. They've seen each other on the racetrack quite a lot. Robbie Gordon still leading this thing. Excuse me for the tab out. Battle for the lead. As I stop paying attention, here's Robbie Gordon getting passed by Jamie McMurray. Finally, the 40 trying to find a way around the 31. Gordon way up the racetrack as McMurray tried to throw a block. He was not clear. But the defensive driving works, and the 40 takes away first. McMurray up a place as Robbie Gordon drops down to second. First lead change in a little while. Gordon had led the entirety of that run post-pit cycle. But not going to give up on McMurray quickly as he goes back down underneath, but couldn't quite find the corner entry speed. 40 stays in first. Lap traffic up the road a little ways. It'd be Vidovic in the 52 to start off these race leaders. Gordon with a run. Kenseth tried to go underneath him. Got blocked by the 31 car. McMurray with the power on the outside is going to re-clear into the tri-oval and stays in first. Here's Kurt Busch with a monster run again. Down underneath both the 17 and the 31. Trying to make it 2 for 1 here. Gordon out of the throttle and Kurt Busch makes it a Ganassi 1-2. 20 to go at the line here for your race leader, Jamie McMurray, who is comfortably out front at the moment. Kane's still stuck in no man's land right now, trying to keep check on your points leaders. Stewart and Ricky Hendrick are still fighting for 16th. Tight battle grows even tighter as Ricky Hendrick is going to get around the 20 again. He's into 16th now. as they run. Kane looking to pick up some points, and Kurt Busch is absolutely loving where he's running at the moment, but would love to get in front of his teammate McMurray for the lead. Final pit stop is looming, expecting it in probably 5 or 6 laps. McMurray pulls away a bit from his teammate Busch off of turn 4 that time. McMurray already with a win this season. It was on fuel mileage at Michigan. The only driver in this top group, believe it or not, without a win would be Kenseth in the 17. Has yet to take home a checkered flag this year. And it is pit stops now. 2 and 19. The drivers we were expecting to come in earlier in the pits again. 4 tires and fuel for Kyle Busch, who enters the pits with about 17 laps to go. Would be 17 when he came in, coming in last time by. Trying to get the short pit. He was already around 6th or 7th. And Robbie Gordon is in the pits as well in the 31. McMurray and Busch still on the track. Gonna be a short pit attempt for the 31 car. We'll see if some of these guys stay out long enough to try thinking about taking 2 tires. 2 Ganassi teammates, tail to nose. Nose to tail here as they head down the backstretch. McMurray is gonna dive into the pits. Busch is gonna stay out. 01 got held up just that little bit by McMurray's entry, but the 40 in from the lead. And here is the money stop for Jamie McMurray. Casey Kane in the 38 back there in, as well as the 20 of Stewart. Kane finds his way into his pit box clean, avoiding any trouble. Four tires and fuel for the 40 of McMurray as he gets away clean. And we're seeing some 2 tires now. 14 took 2, 71 took 2. A lot of the back markers taking 2 tires. Looking like it's a bit of a gamble for position by the guys running further down the order. McMurray leaving the pits. Here is Robbie Gordon off of turn 2. The race for the lead. McMurray leaves in first. Can Gordon get by him on the fresher stuff? Warmer tires, it should be said. Off of 4, Gordon, McMurray for the lead here. 2-tire call for Kurt Busch, as well as the 18. And Kurt Busch with the 2-tire gamble will be the race leader, I believe. But is it going to pay off on the long run? That's an important question. Ricky Hendrick also took 2 tires. He's further up the order as well. Kane going to have to try to get past him. Tony Stewart is back a little bit of a ways, just a couple positions. McMurray and Robbie Gordon fighting for position. That is going to be for what I believe is 3rd. Kurt Busch, nearing 10 to go, has the race lead. Would love to know what caused the damage of Scott Riggs here. Looking like he got ran into the wall at some point. Couple of laps earlier. Ooh, yeah, contact there with the 55 as he went into the wall. Not a wreck big enough to result in a caution flag. So we are still green. Robbie Gordon and McMurray, with 10 laps to go, are on a mission on the fresher tires. They're about half a second a lap faster than the two leaders, who are Labonte and Kurt Busch. Split strategy here at Kansas. Casey Kane has caught up to Ricky Hendrick, who's on 2 tires, trying to make a pass. That's for 12th. Gets underneath the 5, side by side between some of the championship leaders again. And Kane makes quick work of Ricky Hendrick in the 5 car. Robbie Gordon and Jamie McMurray have caught up to Bobby Labonte in the 18. Gotta make quick work of him if they want a chance at catching Kurt Busch. Really just struggling to find a way around him, though. You gotta make it happen as fast as possible, and they just are not doing it at all here. It's gotta be agonizing watching that from the spotter stand, as McMurray is gonna fight with Robbie Gordon for 3rd. You know you're faster than the leader, it's just can you get to him, and they are not getting around the 18 right now. But Gordon underneath him now. Took him a couple of laps. That's valuable time. That Gordon lost to the leader. Trying to go around the outside and lost a ton of speed off of turn 2. They're trying to get around the lapper. That's Vidovic in the 52 in front of these guys. It'll be 5 laps to go at the line. McMurray looking to get past Robbie Gordon for what would be P2. 5 to go now. Kurt Busch still in the lead. McMurray, a perfectly timed move as he gets past Vidovic in the 52 car. And now has his sights set on the race leader, his teammate Kurt Busch. More lap traffic ahead. That's Scott Riggs. Here comes McMurray. Kurt Busch got tight out of turn 4. He had to get out of the throttle. Here's the 40 underneath his teammate for the race lead. No fight at all, and Jamie McMurray has first place. Ricky Hendrick on 2 tires has fallen back to 15th. Tony Stewart in 16th. 3 to go for the 40 of McMurray. That move he made on Robbie Gordon was timed absolutely perfectly. You could not have timed that better. And he has left those two in the dust at the end of this thing. He's got lap traffic to contend with, though, and Robbie Gordon is past Kurt Busch for 2nd. 2 to go at the stripe. McMurray underneath Riggs here. Has a run on David Green. Will try to get underneath the 21 and does. Robbie Gordon closing quickly. McMurray has 2 lap cars in between as a buffer. The 40 will see the white flag. 1 lap to go here for Jamie McMurray up front. Robbie Gordon watching these 2 lappers side by side in front of him. And McMurray can cruise now. Lap car of Ricky Rudd in front. Isn't going to matter much to the 40. McMurray a winner already this season at Michigan. It was his first. He'll make it on speed this time. The 40 car of Jamie McMurray takes the win here at Kansas. 4 tires is the right call for Jamie McMurray. He wins it. Jeff Gordon climbed all the way up to 3rd ahead of Kurt Busch, who will come home in 4th place. Your final finishing position for the rest of the championship leaders. Kane will come home in 12th. Ricky Hendricks stays in front of Stewart. He finishes in 15th. It's 16th for Tony Stewart. Your championship leaders, Kurt Busch, gains a lot of points despite losing out on the win here at the end of this thing. But his teammate Jamie McMurray is the winner. Here at Kansas, takes home his second checkered flag of the season. It's been a breakout year for this 40 team, and McMurray will take home the win. A great win for him here today, one of the fastest cars all day long, and he wins it. It's been a great season for him. Nonetheless, that'll do it here from Kansas as Jamie McMurray takes home the win. Next week, it'll be race number 30. We head to Talladega for the EA Sports 500, one of the biggest wildcard races of this championship fight remaining. And it'll be a Cup standalone race that week. But I'm Caden Reif, your host. It's been a pleasure having you. We'll catch you then, and as always, have yourself a good one.
It's a long way to the top.